gentleman from Ohio, Mr. Jordan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. HAMP, I think, has not only failed to help people, it's actually harmed families. I think in two ways. One is the comments that the Wall Street Journal had, and I related to my opening statement, the false hope it gave people who were in the temporary or trial modification program who never qualified, and the financial implications of going through that process or part of that process. Also think, secondly, the point Mr. Pinto raised. I think his quote was, it derailed private sector efforts to help. So I think in two ways it's been not just a failure to help, but also potentially caused harm to the very families who were trying to get the help and who were trying to provide help to. The numbers you all gave, I have 900,000 for Citi, 600,000 for Bank of America, 135,000 for home mortgage servicing, 500,000 for Wells Fargo, and 846,000 for J.P. Morgan. Of those numbers, I'm going to go down the list. 900,000 modifications you've made. What number of those are HAMP modifications? I took that as being the big number. Okay.
Since 2007, we've helped 900,000 homeowners.
Right. What percentage have been HAMP, or what's the number for HAMP?
Well, recently we offered HAMP trials to 150,000 customers, and out of that, about 30,000 have taken HAMP.
38?
So, 30,000.
35,000. Small percentage.
Yes.
We'll go to Bank of America.
630,000 permanent modifications since 2008. 70,000 of them are HAMP.
We have reported out about 8,800, and we have about 16,000 currently in trial periods.
But and permanent.
For permanent, the 88 is reported out as permanent.
8,000 out of 135,000 modifications, only
8,800.
8,000 in HAMP. Wells Fargo?
We've got 500,000 mods, trials, and permanents. 20% of them are inside of HAMP. And inside of HAMP, there's probably 45,000 in trial yet, probably 45,000 or so in permanent. So a total
less
of
than
about
10%. 10%'s kind of been the no. Go ahead.
257,000 in HAMP of our 846,000.
How many are permanent?
Permanent, 47,000.
So again, very small number. We're talking less than 10%. Here's the question. I think we just cut to the chase. The people who qualified for HAMP went through this cumbersome process, 800 different rules, 15 sets of guidelines, all the stuff they had to go through. Mr. Hyde just described what the intimidating process they had to go through. Of the folks in the HAMP, the 47,000, the small number that how many of those, or let's ask it this way, the people who qualified for HAMP, would any of those not qualified for your own modification program?
Let's put it this way. For the people that fell out of HAMP, we were able to save about 15% more.
So the ones who wouldn't qualify for HAMP, you were able to help?
Yes.
And it's working?
And it's working.
All right.
Can't tell an exact number, but the potential does exist because of the Treasury incentives that it enabled it to make more sense for the investor to be a HAMP modification. But I think many of them would have qualified.
Many?
Many, but I don't know the exact number.
Mr. Friedman.
About 2/3 would qualify for a proprietary mod.
2/3 of the permanent I mean, what's the number?
Well, the question, I believe, was of the HAMP participants, how many would have qualified under a proprietary modification program, and about 2/3 of those would have.
Let me ask it more specifically. Of those in HAMP who got into permanent status in HAMP, would any of those not got into permanent status with one of your programs?
Yeah, only those will be limited by certain investor concerns that under our pooling and servicing agreement. So it'll be a small amount.
I think a timestamp on this is important. If the issue is right now, I think right now with all the programs available, the majority of customers that get a HAMP would probably get a non-HAMP. I don't have an exact number. To the other point about customers that are canceling out of HAMP, Treasurer provided some statistics on that earlier in the week. In Wells Fargo's case, somewhere between 70 and 80% of the HAMP cancellations are resulting in some other form of saving the home or avoiding foreclosure.
Mr. Lohman.
Most would qualify for the proprietary program.
So I mean, here we are. We got a program where this promised $75 billion, 3 to 4 million folks it was going to help. It's helped 346,000 to date to get into permanent, and yet the vast majority of those who made it into the permanent qualification would have made it in one of your own modification programs without putting taxpayer money, without this big government hassle and mess. And then those who got kicked out, we're also finding out the majority of them you could have helped. Mr. Pinto, I know you want to weigh in on this. We got 30
I just
seconds. so
add
go
one
ahead.
fact. About 60% of all HAMP mods are Fannie Freddie. So this issue of, yes, there are some investors outside of that, but Fannie and Freddie is the majority of it. So that's, and of course, they don't need to be paid an incentive to do what they need to do.
Great point, Mr. Chairman. I think this points out, well,
Gentleman's
I
time.
think it's obvious what it points out.